clinic is part of the provision that we need for the BSc Honours Acupuncture programme, which we've recruited our first group of students for this September. And as part of their education, they obviously need to practice their acupuncture skills under supervision of qualified staff. And we need an on-site facility to do that because there aren't the number of acupuncturists in the Northwest available to take all our students on placement. So essentially it's a placement opportunity for students. But having developed the facility, and because there is always a high demand from staff and from the general public for both physiotherapy and acupuncture, we've opened it up as a facility for treatment. And at the moment, it's qualified physiotherapy and acupuncturists who are doing the treatments. But we will then move into students once we've got students. We'll now be the only BSc Honours Acupuncture programme in the Northwest, and the British Acupuncture Accreditation Board and the British Acupuncture Council were very keen that there was an ongoing course in the Northwest.
I'm very impressed with this clinic. I mean, I didn't know what to expect when I came down here, and I think what's impressive is that okay, it's a clinic where acupuncture is being used, but of course the main purpose is to teach students. And you know they've got this new course of BSc Honours in Acupuncture, which is quite remarkable. And I know students are enrolling now to start in September. I mean, I didn't know much about this until this morning, but what they've taught me is it's very encouraging that these students they'll be watching the experts, and I mean there are experts in acupuncture here, learning from them and being taken through a formal course with a degree at the end. Any profession that's dealing with human bodies, you've got to get hands-on as a student. That's the only way you learn. I mean, textbooks are fine for theory, but in practice you've got to get hands-on. And especially with acupuncture and physio, I mean, that's the job. It's hands-on people, so you've got to get that practical experience. Put into practice what you've learned in theory, basically. I think many years ago, a lot of the medical profession were sceptical about acupuncture. One, because, in their minds, explanations didn't tell you why it worked or how it worked, etc. But I mean, we're seeing the clinical evidence in painful conditions, in what are called musculoskeletal conditions. That's muscles and bones in painful conditions. It's got a very powerful role to play.
Acupuncture doesn't hurt. A lot of people are worried about the insertion of needles, but whereas if you have an injection or if you have blood taken, the needle has to be quite big because it has a hollow core for the liquid. Acupuncture needles are very, very fine. There's no hollow core in the middle of them. They're very, very fine, and because they're very sharp and because they're expertly inserted, unless they look, most people don't even know that a needle's gone in. And doctors like it because there's no interactive pharmacology. So if people are on several types of medication or drugs, acupuncture won't interfere with them. So it's a form of pain relief that doesn't have side effects. We're lucky enough to have a PhD student in Manchester who comes from Liaoning University of Traditional Chinese Medicine. So I spent a week there having a look and opening discussions about how we can have a reciprocal arrangement. And we're looking at offering our acupuncture students an opportunity to go over to Liaoning towards the end of their course to spend some time working in China, understanding more about the Chinese philosophy behind the development of acupuncture. They're also very keen on learning more about physiotherapy and rehabilitation. So we're talking about having some of their staff and students coming over here to collaborate on physiotherapy.